Happy Monday! Welcome to another amazing conversation. Today we're talking about when success does not feel like freedom. How did we get here? When success doesn't feel like freedom, do this. And I'm going to give you three practical things because it's like, hang on a second. Yeah, I'm going to give you three practical things because this feeling where you have worked and worked and worked, gotten to the top, and you're like, wait a minute, what happened? Huh? I feel like I'm in a prison. It's not fun. So we're going to talk about that this morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. And so it is. All right, let me jump right into it. So most women figure this out around their 40s, 50s, 60s. It's what we call our midlife season, that transition where we kind of start looking around and evaluating our life, how far we've come, how far we have to go. Is this what I even wanted? When did this happen? And so I call this our midlife season, and it's full with a ton of wisdom. One of the things that I know about this time in our lives, though, is that we would have worked our behinds off to get to the top and then found ourselves in this like come to Jesus, come to yourself, moment where you're like, this is not quite what I thought it was. And I love this quote by Joseph Campbell. He says, midlife is that moment where you have climbed to the top of the ladder and you realize, oh, shoot, wrong wall. The ladder was up against the wrong wall. What do you do now? Have you ever been in that place where you've manifested, you've wanted something really, really, really bad, and then you manifested it and you go, um, no, this is not quite what I had in mind. I've had that happen to me a couple of times in a bunch of different scenarios, and you're like, let's take this back to the drawing board. So if you have built success, if you have chased success, if you have been doing a ton to manifest success, and maybe you've gotten it, maybe you're not quite there, but you are looking around and you're like, this does not feel like freedom. Then I want to talk about that this morning. I want to give you some, yep, ouch, wrong wall. I want to give you some tips on how to resolve this. But first, my own oops, wrong wall moment. So I have been on this journey. I have built several seven-figure businesses. I got to a point where in this particular business, I was, touting all the accolades, putting all the big, pretty numbers out there. Yay, seven figures. Oh, look, we've accumulated eight figures in this business. Great. And then I had this moment where I looked at my life. So, yay, numbers, financial growth, all that good stuff. Check, check, check. Success, right? And then I looked at my life and I was like, wait a second, I've got 5 programs I'm running consecutively. That means 5 different groups of people every single week I have to show up for to support. Now, that might not sound like a lot to you, but when one group is 100 plus people, another one is 40 people, another one's like another 100 plus people, and you got to show up, forget. And this is not just like, hey, let's hang out and chat. I have to prepare. I have to be ready to change their lives. It's like, right? Okay, you take that on. So just imagine that's just one piece of this success. The incredible responsibility of hundreds of people waiting for you to change and transform their lives every single week. And you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to do that today? Right? So we have that going on. Then to keep this business running, you have to be launching a couple times a year. That is a beast. On the outside, it just looks like, oh, some promotion and Tasha shows up. You're talking about 5 days of intensity. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Everything underneath is a ton of lifting, heavy work, coordination, money, like a lot. Okay. So we got to keep this business afloat. We got to keep launching. We got to keep creating new stuff. We've got to do one-on-one clients. We have to be out there networking. This is me. I have to be out there networking, making contacts, do collaborations, doing, always meeting new people, whether it's to become clients or for us to collaborate, to grow the business. You grow through connection, right? So always having to be on. Then you have a massive team running this machine. And then, oh, by the way, there's me, personal growth. I got to make time to keep growing. Forget my family, forget my health, forget everything else. That's all on top of it. So you get to this moment, and I look around and I'm like, um, wait a minute. What the heck? This isn't freedom. This is a prison. So if anybody else, right? If anybody else is like, me, Lashina's like me, if anybody else feels like that's happening, has happened, and you are in, kind of like I always say, you're in a washing machine on the spin cycle, and you're like, wait a second, because this is not only relevant if you've climbed to the top of the ladder and you realize you're on the wrong wall. Sometimes this moment comes as you're trying to climb the ladder and you're going, Jesus, this is heavy, this is hard, this is a lot, right? This is, I know I'm want to be successful, I want to do all these things, but it's a lot, right? So let's talk about that. I like to say, let's dig a little deeper. Why does success, or chasing success, or doing the work to become successful, what gets us to that point where we're like, this does not feel like freedom? It actually feels like a prison sentence. I'm going to give you, just open up your awareness to see where we may have gone off track a little bit. Number one, if you've been building success that's based on somebody else's version of success, I have some of my peers, and we talk about this. I've observed, and my heart goes out to people in this situation. They will get massive influencers, like big influencers who have done incredible, they're touting all the big numbers. And then we sign up to work with them, and it's literally their cookie cutter model, which the part of it that we don't get is they have a massive team. They have a ton of money to fuel this machine. They've been doing it for a long time. And so when you are trying to duplicate that person's success, it's a ton of pressure. It's probably not meant for you. You probably don't have the bandwidth and the resources that these other people you're trying to model have. And so, yeah, we get to the top of the wall having followed somebody else's version of success. And it's not only like following influencers. We do this with, following what our parents want us to do, what our spouse want us to do, what religion says we should do, all of it. Everybody else's what is right for you. Eventually, that is going to not feel like fun. It's not going to feel like success at all. Then we have the state where you look around and you're like, wait a second, I've been building this business with a ton of masculine energy. As a woman, you're only going to be able to do that for so long until you run out of fuel, right? Because men are wired to fight and like hustle and grind. And, it's the reason why my husband can do 90 pounds and I'm at the gym this morning doing 10 and 15, right? Just wired different. And so let's process that a little bit. If I am trying my whole, like, years and years and years of building a business, trying to be like a dude lifting 90 pounds every single day, my God, my body was not wired for that. Eventually, you're going to get exhausted. And that's where a lot of us women in this midlife season, a lot of my peers, my clients, we're all talking about this, like, just pure exhaustion. I just don't have it in me anymore to do it the way I did before, or to keep going at that level of intensity. And so, yeah, success built in that way, it gets exhausting. It does not feel free or fun. Then there's the other version where you look around and you're like, wait a second, I thought I was building freedom, but what I've done is I've built a business that's a personal prison, one that I can't escape from and one that I can't maintain. And that is where the rubber hits the road and you're like, what do I do now? Because I've put so much time, so much energy, so much resources into building this business. I can't escape it, or it's all, it's all going to crumble, and everything I've put in, what's going to happen? But I also can't maintain it. I'm exhausted. And then the last one is, there just comes this moment where you've outgrown that version of success. I know When I looked back, when I look in my 20s, what I wanted, what my version of success was, I did it in my 30s and my 40s. And I was like, yay, look at me. In fact, everything that I've told you so far, all four, that's been me. So I've got them all, right? But I get to this point, I'm like, yay, wow, Tasha in her 20s, look at you, girl, you did it. And then I turn around and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I'm over this. This is no longer fun. This does not feel like freedom. So I do want to say, if you are having a aha moment right now, this is all great news. If you look around and either your journey to success doesn't feel like freedom, or you've built some level of success that no longer feels like freedom, this is great news. And you're going right now, Tasha, what? How is this great news? Okay, let me explain. You are in the awareness that you want something different. And this is what I call the wealthy version of you getting your attention. She wants to activate your desire for you to say, you know what? I want something different. I call this, I want to be financially independent, recreationally employed. Ever since I came up with that, or actually the guy at the bank, I came up with the concept of it in my mind. My wealthy self revealed to me, like, Tasha, there's another way. Okay, so you built success this way so far, but there's another way. There is a way where you feel financially at peace. Your work, you love it. It feels like fun. It feels like recreation. Like, do it if you want, don't do it if you don't want. Like, there's a place. There is a place with a rainbow and unicorns and cotton candy where that life, that version of you exists. And I go to the bank a few days later, and the guy at the bank is talking about my money. And he says, where we want to get you to is where you're financially independent, recreationally employed. I was like, those are the words. That's it. That's exactly what I am thinking, right? Wealthy self revealed it to me. Dude at the bank gave me the words. So she wants you to want that. All my ladies here watching, do you want to be financially independent, recreationally employed? That's fire. Type fire if you're like, sign me up for that. I want fire. Just type fire in the chat. Blow up the chat, everybody. I want to be financially independent, recreationally employed. Let me see it. Put it in the chat. You can type yes, you can type fire, you can do whichever one of those work. There we go. Here they all come, right? Yeah. That is what we want, fire. Absolutely. So she literally has to get you to want this bad. And contrast is always the most beautiful way to access desire. When you get to the point where you're like, shoot, I'm on the wrong wall, climb to the top of the ladder, but I'm up against the wrong wall, or you're like, wait a second, I'm trying to get to the top and I'm exhausted. I cannot go another rung. That is the moment where your desire for something different is the most intense. And this is where she just whispers into your ear, your wealthy version of you. She's like, do you want something different now? Do you want something different now? And you get to accept the invitation or not. You get to say yes or no. What I see a lot of women do is, even though you're exhausted, even though it feels like a prison, you go harder, because you have so many years of that's how you solve the problem. When something's not working, you go all in, you go harder, as high achievers. But she is giving you an out. She is literally saying, let's move this ladder to the wall of financially independent, recreationally employed. So if you say yes, and that's truly it, what do you do in your yes? How do you go from, I want a different version of freedom? Number one, and this is super basic. So everybody write this down. Everybody type so you know what your homework is from this call. What does freedom look like now? If you no longer feel like the success you're experiencing feels like freedom for you, well, what does freedom look like now? Those of us in our midlife journey, we're in our, in between phases, we have a ton of, well, I know I don't want that. I know I'm over that. I know I'm done that. Like if it's gonna mean I gotta prove myself, I gotta people please, I gotta perform, I'm over it. No, that is a prison. I'm done. If it means I don't have a life, I don't get to be with my family on the drop of a dime, I don't get to go randomly on trips, that's not freedom. No, thank you. Don't sign me. Like we have a lot of knowledge about what we don't want. Let's use it to say, this is what freedom looks like for me. She's inviting you to get it, but you have to define it, right? So, number one, what does freedom look like for you today? Number two, you have to believe. This was the kicker for me. When she introduced the idea of Tasha, there's another wall, financially independent, recreationally employed. There's a whole other path. That's not this version of success that you've built that you're trapped in. There's another way. You know, the hardest thing for me when I got that download was believing it was possible. That was the hardest thing. And you know what she did? She just tightened the screw a little tighter and a little tighter and a little tighter. So my desire would be like a 50 out of 10. And I was like, I believe, I believe, I believe, I want it, and I believe. So can you believe that it's possible for you? And the last one, the next little hurdle that we have to get over is, do you believe you deserve it? So many women are trapped in a version of success that feels like a prison, that has them exhausted, that no longer works for this one simple reason. They actually don't believe they deserve anything else. So here this morning, whenever you're listening to this video, we're going to be like, you know what? I am committed to becoming deserving of success that includes ease. In fact, not just that it's easy, because it's not like, oh, I just want to sit and eat bonbons, right? Yeah, I still want to be 7, 8 figure business owner. I still want all those things. But now I know I deserve wealth with ease. Can you all type that? I deserve wealth with ease. That's what the wealthy version of you wants you to step into, is to become deserving of it. If you don't believe you deserve it, you can't have it. So if you're still stuck in an identity that says I have to work hard, that's the only way, I have to like grind and hustle and overdo and perform and all be super toxic productive, that's what you believe you deserve to get to success, then that's what you'll have. But you can also believe, I deserve wealth with ease. I deserve wealth with ease. I deserve joy in my work. Can you untype that? I deserve joy in my work. What the heck? I want to be hustling like this and hating what I'm doing to make a living. I deserve joy in my work. I deserve time and spaciousness. And I bet for many of you, your new version of freedom, right? This new version of success, if you had those things, if you had wealth with ease, if you had more joy in your work, if you had more time and spaciousness, oh, sign me up all day, every day, right? On weekends, 24 hours a day, all day. Yeah, that feels like freedom. That I want. I want wealth with ease. I want joy from my work. I want time, spaciousness. That is success that I can align with. So if you know, Tasha, this deservingness thing is my thing, it's where I get stuck, I just like, shameless plug, go to Amazon, Tasha Chen. There's a book I wrote on this from my own life's experiences of learning this lesson. So it's Tasha Chen. The name of the book is Deservingness. Just go buy it. It's literally 100 pages. It will change your life. If you know this is where you're getting stuck and why you're experiencing this hard, heavy version of success is because you know deep it down, you don't believe you deserve for it to be easy. You don't believe you deserve a lot of money. You don't believe you deserve a version of success that fulfills you. Go buy the book. Okay. There's no link in here. Literally, I'm making you work. Go to Amazon, type Tasha Chen deservingness, buy the book, read it over the weekend. It'll change your life. Do what's in the book. It'll change your life. Now, I have some exciting news. I've been waiting to get through all this so I can tell you the exciting news. By the way, I want to make sure you're supported on what you came here for. So what are the 3 things? Let me just repeat them before I move on. Number 1, define freedom. When success no longer feels like freedom, write your own new definition of freedom today. This is what I want now. Number two, believe that you can have a new reality where you're financially independent, recreationally employed. Believe it, right? How do I believe it? Just choose to believe it. That's how that works. You know what? What else? I don't have anything to lose. I'm just going to choose to believe that. Number three, become deserving of success that includes wealth with ease, joy in your work, time spaciousness, time freedom. Believe that you deserve that and you will have it. Okay, so those are the three things, what to do now. And my exciting news. I've been telling you, I'm really walking the walk in this journey. I'm not just a talking head. I literally, anything I come on here to talk about, I'm doing in my own life. And so one of the things that I've been evaluating is what would make me feel more joy. Like Monday mornings at 8 a.m. By 8 a.m., I've worked out for an hour. I've got to do all this production, right? It's a lot. So I want to make sure I'm always asking myself, how can I have more fun? How can this be more fun for me? Because the more fun I have, the more you learn, the more fun you have, the more you change, the more you transform. That's what I'm committed to my joy. In my commitment to my joy, I support you at the highest level. That's how that works. So I asked myself this question, and I'm going to change the entire format of Monday mornings. It is going to be now called the Wealthy Me podcast. Our first episode, episode 1, will be October 3rd. And get ready for it. For that episode, I'm going to be sharing from my journal. I'm going to be sharing the journal entry that manifested my husband. And this is for those women over 40, over 50, over 60, like whatever age, that whatever age you are where you start feeling like love is hopeless. I want to share this entry with you with the intention that you can just be inspired to know again and believe that love at any age is possible. All right. So that's coming up. I'm really excited. The month of October is all going to be around identity. So what is the identity that our brain thinks we are versus the identity we truly want to be? And so the entire theme of October is all about identity. If you know, like, I'm down for that, I want to be here, tell me all the things, type reminder in the chat. You will get a link. If you're on YouTube, you'll get a link to sign up. The link is also in the description for this video. And if you're on Facebook, Instagram, wherever else, when you type reminder, it is going to send you a DM. So make sure you're like in there responding to the DM, signing up for the reminders, right? Type the word reminder so you can get all the notifications of when I go live. It's just easy. You don't have to think about it. Okay, with that, go have an amazing week and create your own new version of success. Bye, everyone. Happy Monday.